Hi guys, in this episode of my Inkscape beginner's guide, I'll talk about the object menu and the option pattern. But before that, this is something to look forward to. I'm going to show you how to create this 3D box in Inkscape. I hope that you're interested in learning how to do this. I'll upload the tutorials as soon as I'm ready with them. Now let's focus on the pattern option. I'm going to move this aside and create a rectangle. I'm also going to create another one. Then I'm going to switch to the select and transform tool, and with this rectangle selected, I'll go to the object menu, pattern, object to pattern. Then I'll select this one, start the fill and stroke tool, and click on this option for a pattern fill. And then I'm going to click here to find my most recently created pattern, which is this one. And now I'm going to click on this tool, and the node tool will let me see these controls here. Now this one is for moving the pattern, this one is for rotating, and this one is for scaling. Now let's try and scale this pattern down, holding down the control key to keep the aspect ratio. Now you see here some white gaps in between these black rectangles, and this unfortunately is a bug in Inkscape, and it has something to do with the way Inkscape calculates the bounding box of the objects. You see that this rectangle here is completely black, and that means that the object that we filled with this pattern must be completely black, and that's why these gaps here are so obvious. In some cases they won't be that obvious, but this cripples a lot this function in Inkscape, and I hope this is fixed soon. But for now it is what it is. If I create a circle, for example, holding down the control key, go to the object menu, pattern, object to pattern, then click on this object and select the last pattern here. You see that now this is not so obvious. Now let's switch back to the node tool and talk about these controls. These controls should appear on the edges of the bounding box of the object that we use to create the pattern. But if you move the object that you filled with the pattern with the select and transform tool, then I'll switch back to the node tool, you see that these controls also moved. Now if you use one of the patterns that come with Inkscape, for example the first one, stripes, the controls usually appear on the page. If I zoom out, you can see them here, and they're very small. You have to zoom in to see them. So if you can't see these controls, just zoom out, zoom in, try to look for them, and most important, make sure that you have selected the object filled with the pattern with the node tool. I'm going to hit Ctrl Z to go back to the previous pattern with the circles. Zoom in here and let's see what the controls do. With this one you can move the pattern, with this one you can rotate it, and with this one we can scale it. Holding down the control key, we will scale it, keeping the aspect ratio. And by the way, the rotate option also, you can hold down the control key to snap angle. Now let's create a quick checkerboard pattern. With this tool, hold down the control key to create a square. I'm going to duplicate it, select and transform tool, I'll change the color to gray color. Then select both objects, start the align and distribute tool, use this option to align them horizontally. Then I'm going to use this one to align their edges. Then I'm going to group them, Ctrl D to duplicate this, use this option to flip this. Then I'll move this over here, select this one, then use this option, then this one. Now I can select all this, go to object, pattern, object to pattern, then click on this object to select it, close the align and distribute tool, click here to select the last pattern, which is the checkerboard pattern, and you see how this looks. Unfortunately, the white gaps are still here. They are not that obvious, but they are still here, like I said, and you can see them even if you use the file export bitmap option. So I hope that this gets fixed soon, and I hope this video was useful. If it was, like it, leave a comment, and if you're new to my tutorials, subscribe, visit my channel, and that's it for now. Bye.